There are 2 steps for building vitality in your life. And in this video, you'll find that it's a lot easier to know what the steps are than it is to actually implement the steps. But if you clicked on this video, I know that you're interested in having actionable steps that you actually implement. Alright, so my name is Dark Modder and I'm really motivated to talking about vitality. I'm really motivated to talking about vitality and I'm really motivated to helping people understand vitality. So even if I was a multi-millionaire, this is exactly what I would be doing. I would be on camera trying to get really cool shots, whoa, as some of my stuff gets wet, and I would be trying to heal people because I know that heal people, and healing people keeps healed people healed. I understand what the game is. I understand how to build vitality in my life. And I already made a video on vitality. It was my first video. If you haven't watched it already, but I introduced a lot of concepts that are really important in building vitality. Alright, so this leads me to my very first point. The very first thing for you to do to build vitality into your life is be aware of the game you're playing. If you want to build vitality in your life, you want to build your health, wealth, relationships, and higher purpose. These are the games of life. You want to know how to play the games, and then you want to do as best as you can to fulfill your needs, to meet your needs, okay? So I introduced that idea in my first video because I just wanted you guys to know that you could be doing really well in one domain of your life. Say your finances. You could be someone who's really wealthy, but really need to understand how to take care of your health. Other way around, you could kind of be really fit, you could be really healthy, but want to know how to do well in your personal finances and have financial success. So there are certain games that you have to know what the success principles are, and I like calling them games because then you can know what the rules are to the games so that you can then win the game. When people talk about vitality, it's typically associated with wellness. It's typically associated in the wellness industry, organ health, making sure that energy is circulating throughout your body. And I'm gonna offer a lot of resources for you guys to understand how to circulate energy in your body because that's my core competency in life. I would not ask a single thing to me about financial success because I am not financially successful yet. I'm not financially successful, so you go to people who are financially successful who can teach you how to acquire resources. But that is not out of the question. Resource acquisition, how to manage your resources, this is a very big part of vitality. So it has to be a part of the conversation. Now, on the first video that I made, I used financial terms. I said, you have to understand, to build vitality, you have to understand the difference between assets and liabilities. Now that financial term means, well, for every dollar I put into an asset, I get $3 back, or I get $5 back. The asset is something that grows, it gives you, it feeds you. Not only that, say you invest in something like real estate. If you invest in real estate, the government also gives you tax deductions. You see how that works? So you invest in an asset and you also get rewarded. The government wants you to build houses, build jobs, create energy. So if you are an entrepreneur and you have people work under you, those people pay taxes, so you get tax deductions, so you're in partnership with the government. If you're into real estate, you build houses, you create housing, which then builds the economy, the government rewards you for that. So those are some of the success principles in a nutshell with finance, with financial success. So it's just about being aware of that game and then playing that game that will allow you to get in abundance of resources. It'll give you that abundance of resources. And of course, there's the aspect, as all my things get wet. There's the element of you managing your resources in an effective way so that you can do it one time over, you can do it a second time over, you can get real estate a fourth time over, and so on and so forth. And the idea with financial freedom is that you get a diversified investment portfolio, okay? So I don't mean to bore you with financial jargon, but if you're watching this video, then I wish you well in all the respective domains of life, okay? I say all this because assets and liabilities are not just with personal finance, it's also with relationships. There are so many relationships where the asset is giving energy. There's people in relationships that are gaining energy. They gain so much energy. I've seen some relationships that are thriving and they're so beautiful. It's really inspiring. And I'm really privileged to have come across these relationships just to see what a functional relationship dynamic looks like with healthy reciprocal energy. And then there's also toxic energy. There's also toxic relationships. Relationships where you're compromising so much of yourself. And that's what I'm most familiar with. I'm most familiar with environments where it's sucking my energy like a vampire, right? And for so many years of my life, I've been trying to get into an environment where there are people who give energy. And I've experienced it plenty of times, so I know it's available, I know it's out there, I know I'm competent enough to be able to heal others. It's a really big part of my mission and part of my goal. And I want you to be a part of it if you're watching this video, okay? But with toxic environments, the thing with how dangerous it is that you can become addicted to it. So you can become addicted to a toxic relationship and then not even be familiar with what a healthy relationship looks like, even if it came in front of you, even if that person came up with that ideal situation, you wouldn't even be able to receive it because you fall in love with what you're familiar with. You see a toxic relationship, it's familiar, so not even being aware of the fact that you are addicted, that is a tier in itself. There are different tiers of awareness. So that asset liability game goes for finance, it goes for relationships, and it also goes for your story, which is what I love getting into, because your experiences, you can think of them as either an asset or a liability. So you could think of your story as a burden, which is the liability, an energy drain, something you want to forget about, something you want to numb out, something you want to not even regard as beneficial in any way, something you're ashamed of, something you're contracting, something you're trying to avoid. Or you can view your past and your history as an asset. You can love your old script, you can love your darkness. Dark matter is who I am, and dark love is what I represent. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram, I have a lot of resources to help you understand how to love your past, your shadow aspect, love your darkness. Because when you love your darkness, when you have voluntary exposure to the things that you are trying to suppress, then you're able to release the suppression, you're able to release the tension, and you're able to circulate energy in a healthier way. So I found a lot of success in being aware of my past, aware of this game of seeing assets and liabilities in my personal finance, my health, my relationships, and in my higher purpose, okay? So I know what the games are. Being aware is really important. This is about understanding the importance of being aware of these games that you're playing, okay? So there's that is a single step. There's that, and then there's also implementing the action, the new ideal self. There's implementing what you would regard as something that would give you energy. So you find out what your assets are, you find out what your liabilities are, you find out what's giving you energy, you find out what's taking energy away from you, And then the implementation is having boundaries, for instance, which I'll get into in another video. I'm really excited about sharing all the details of boundaries, but I want you guys to just accept how I'm introducing boundaries for the moment and just accept the definition that you have about boundaries. But have boundaries about the things that give you energy. So if you're in an environment that gives you energy, try to protect that energy. Try to protect a relationship that's feeding you. Try to protect something that you're really passionate about that gives you a lot of skill, that gives you a flow state. Implementation, vitality, and flow state. So the flow state experience, the feeling of ease, the feeling of calm, that's the sensation that you're going for. When I am in a flow state doing jujitsu, or when I'm in a flow state singing or writing a song, when I'm in a flow state going out for exercising, when I'm in a flow state having a conversation that's really meaningful and important with someone, just allowing myself to be uninhibited and stretching myself. That's the implementation aspect that I'm talking about. So just knowing what it is that's taking away energy and giving yourself energy, writing it down every single day, just consciously being aware of it. This game is something you can play all the damn time. Every time you look at people, every time you're walking down the street and you want to engage with reality, it's a consciousness thing. The more conscious you are of your life, the more success you'll have in building vitality. And then the implementation, which is recognizing your ideal self, having a target that you're mindfully working towards. That's the implementation. All right, so those are your actionable steps. Those are some of the things that you can do, and it's harder to do than it is to know. But knowing about this and constantly reinforcing it with a support system, people who are here to support you on this journey and understand what your progress looks like, this is so important, and this is what I'm here for. So my name, like I said, is Dark Modder. I have an Instagram, and if you'd like to follow me on Instagram or even subscribe to this channel, you'll get more definitions about what vitality is. You'll get these definitions because I'm trying to establish a brand that's focused on communication, effective communication for effective relationships so that you can connect with the people that you're meant to connect with in this life. All right, I wish you well. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my version of what vitality is. And I know you'll find so much success as long as you stick to what I just said.